Sean in Shreveport, Louisiana. It says you want to disagree with me, Sean. What's up?
Yeah, Tom. Well, since I've been on, hold on, for almost an hour, but so I've heard a couple other things. So there's a couple things I want to go over. First of all, about an hour ago, you were talking about the suicide rate for women coming out of the military.
Right.
Being much higher than it was.
12 times higher than for women civilians. Yeah.
Okay. And you were also talking about the VA, about the not-profits.
I was talking about the Wounded Warrior Project and how it's raking in millions and millions of dollars in pay. The senior executives of that particular charity took $2.6 million in pay last year, according to this article.
Right.
And I'm saying why? Why do we need private charities to care for our soldiers? Shouldn't that be the responsibility of the United States of America?
Yeah, and as usual, government can't do it. So we need.
Well, no, government can do it if Republicans didn't cut funding.
The government has not been cut.
The sequester has cut funding, Sean.
No, they have not. They have cut the rate of increase. You guys try to pull this.
In an inflationary environment, it's the same thing.
No. Nobody runs their home budgets by saying, okay, next year, my home budget this year is $10,000. I make $11,000, so I'm going to do this. So next year, I'm going to raise it by 10%.
Sean, nobody in their home budget issues their own currency. Nobody in their home budget can issue bonds in their own currency. It's a stupid, respectfully, it's a stupid comparison. In fact, it's a useless comparison. We are a nation state. We are not a family.
No, that's not true.
We are a nation state. The United States of America is a republic. It is not a household.
That's correct. But there is still budgets, and people need to live in them. And living inside a budget, which has not been done except for a Republican House. And
excuse me, the last two presidents who submitted balanced budgets were Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton.
Right, and what kind of Congress did they have? Republican. Thank you.
So don't recall, actually. No, Jimmy Carter had a Democratic Congress.
He had one half of it. Either way.
The point is, Republicans don't even bother proposing balanced budgets. But beyond that, a balanced budget is irrelevant. Well, if you want to worry about a balance or an imbalance or a deficit, look at the trade deficit. Our trade deficit is killing us. For every $1 billion in a trade deficit, you lose 17,000 American jobs. There is no association between the federal budget deficit and the loss of jobs. In fact, it works the other way around. When we ended, Sean, let me finish this thought, and feel free to rebut it. When we ended World War II, we were at 124% of GDP. Our debt was 124% larger than the entire year's economic activity of our country. The way that the way that Dwight Eisenhower paid down that debt, because when he came into office, we were at 124% of GDP debt. Highest debt we've ever had in the history of this country. I don't know about the Civil War, but I think it was the highest we've ever had. The way he did it, he borrowed another couple $1 billion in today's money and built the interstate highway system, which stimulated, that infrastructure stimulated the economy so much, not just putting people back to work so they had money in their pockets. That stimulated the economy. But infrastructure is the ground, the soil in which business roots itself. And so it created an explosion of economic activity. Democrats have been pushing for this. Nancy Pelosi actually got it through the House of Representatives. Republicans filibustered it. We've got $3 trillion worth of repairs in our infrastructure that needs to be done, and that's not counting the $1.3 trillion in our intellectual infrastructure, where we've got this massive debt called the student loan crisis, which had never happened in the history of the United States until Reagan came up with this brilliant idea of basically privatizing education. And if we were to simply fund those things, and yes, increase the national debt to fund them, it would pay down the national debt the same way it did during Eisenhower, because more people would be making more money and thus paying more taxes.
No. The best way to get rid of our debt is to cut taxes, putting more people back.
I'm sorry, Sean. We tried that. We've been listening to that nonsense. I'm being charitable. Ever since Ronald Reagan came into office, his vice president, George Herbert Walker Bush, called it voodoo economics, and he was right. And it doesn't work. It never has worked. It ain't going to work now. Thank you for the call. We'll be back.